Hello, today is Saturday, July 18th, 2026. Here is your daily signal. According to Fortune, escalating tensions between the U.S. and Iran have derailed a fragile interim peace, with renewed U.S. naval blockades and intensified airstrikes prompting Iran to threaten a halt to all Middle Eastern energy exports. The U.S.-Iran conflict reignited in late February 2026 after joint U.S.-Israeli military strikes, has continued to destabilize the region. Almost one-fifth of global oil and liquefied natural gas flows through the Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point for world energy security. Iran's temporary closure of the strait left as much as 20 million barrels per day of oil exports stranded, fueling a worldwide energy crisis as diplomatic efforts to restore ceasefire agreements falter. Key industry players like Saudi Aramco and Qatar Energy, as well as institutions including the United Nations and International Maritime Organization, are directly impacted, with shipping companies also facing risks. On July 8, renewed attacks struck 3 merchant vessels and Iranian targets, prompting the IMO to call for restraint and the UN to warn of catastrophic risks. By July 10, the IEA reported that a de facto closure of the strait had slashed global crude flows by up to 14 million barrels per day. Following fresh U.S. strikes and the revocation of Iran's oil export waiver, Brent crude leapt above $76 per barrel, signaling heightened anxiety over supply disruptions. In the near term, experts anticipate volatile and elevated energy prices as ongoing supply disruptions spur inflation and restrict fuel access in energy importing regions. Medium-term consequences include accelerated diversification of supply routes and new pipelines bypassing the Hormuz choke point, and continued instability could spur a worldwide shift toward renewables and transform the global energy trade. Next, onto American politics. As reported by Associated Press, President Donald Trump used a primetime address to cast doubt on U.S. election legitimacy and press for stricter voting laws, revisiting previous claims despite voter concerns and ongoing legal scrutiny. The 2026 U.S. election cycle is shaped by intense partisan divisions and increased legal challenges. Recent years have seen mounting court involvement in voting rights, redistricting, and campaign finance, with PACs and dark money groups increasingly influencing outcomes. Federal and state regulatory changes are also reshaping candidate eligibility and election security. Former President Trump remains a central figure, facing multiple legal challenges and driving GOP strategy, while the DNC and RNC set party platforms and direct legal actions. Major tech companies like Meta and Google are managing election advertising and targeting disinformation, and state-level actors oversee evolving election laws. Key developments this week include a federal appeals court ruling that some Florida campaign finance restrictions are unconstitutional, reshaping how candidates fundraise. Tech giant Meta suspended hundreds of accounts tied to disinformation campaigns in swing states, and the Supreme Court allowed Georgia's new voter ID laws to stand for the November election. Relaxing campaign finance rules in Florida could mean increased political influence from wealthy individuals and entities, while social media crackdowns may shift voter perception but prompt fresh legal battles over fairness and censorship. Experts warn that Georgia's stricter voter laws could depress turnout among marginalized groups, affecting competitiveness, while legal precedents set in 2026 may shape elections nationwide for years to come. Next, let's look at innovation in the energy industry. TechCrunch highlights that Applied Computing has raised $20 million to build an AI model designed to optimize entire oil, gas, and petrochemical plants, signaling a turning point for operational efficiency across the sector. Foundation AI models, which are large-scale and pre-trained, have revolutionized heavy industry optimization since 2022 and are now driving digital transformation in energy by enhancing predictive maintenance, supply chain management, process automation, and emissions reduction in complex extraction and refining processes. Major industry leaders such as Halliburton, Schlumberger, and Shell are actively integrating advanced AI into their operational routines, while research institutions like Stanford and MIT are pushing the boundaries of energy sector AI. Supporting this wave, the U.S. Department of Energy and European Union are driving initiatives for sustainable, AI-powered production. In recent news, ExxonMobil deployed OpenAI's GPT-5 foundation model in drilling operations, yielding an 8% improvement in output, while Siemens and BP launched a joint venture for AI-powered supply chain optimization. In the near term, such advances bring up to a 10% reduction in equipment downtime and a measurable boost in efficiency, while medium-term, widespread adoption could accelerate decarbonization and reshape workforce skill requirements demanding greater expertise in software and data analytics. Enhanced AI-powered intelligence promises stronger regulatory compliance and safer workplaces, shifting competitive advantage to firms with deeper AI integration and robust tech partnerships. That wraps today's briefing. Now, onto the markets. International equities were mixed, with Germany's EWG slipping nearly 0.2% while the Netherlands' EWN fell sharply, losing almost 1.3%. India's Index gained momentum, advancing about 0.45%, while Taiwan's EWT saw steep losses, dropping over 2.8%. The Netherlands led decliners and Chile also posted notable losses. Commodities were mostly positive as U.S. oil USO jumped over 3.9% and gold GLD advanced close to 0.95%. Platinum PPLT was the top loser in this group, sliding almost 1.3%. Agriculture was strong, with corn rising about 0.9% and wheat up 1.3%. Both DBA and UNG gas posted gains, while lithium LIT was a key laggard, down nearly 0.7%. U.S. favorites were mixed. Adobe edged higher by about 0.8%, while Microsoft's MSFT fell 1.8%, and NVIDIA NVDA declined 2.2%. ARM saw a notable gain, up nearly 2%, while Intel Inc. dropped about 2%. S&P 500 SPY slipped almost 1%, and Healthcare Roman 45 posted a small loss of 0.4% as momentum stayed positive within real estate and finance. Today's biggest gainer was SHOT, soaring over 2,429%, while QOQH plunged 99.9% and Stack Inc. fell almost 49%. That's it for today. You can find more news and details on our website. Goodbye.